Now, Fresh and Fit, okay? Let's talk about them for a second here, okay? Now, do I believe a lot of what they say? Yeah, I believe a lot of what they say. Now, do I believe how they actually solve the problem? No, okay? The way Fresh and Fit try to solve the problem that they talk about on their podcast is just, it's not a long-term strategy. They purport to, oh my God, if a man is more powerful because he has more women. Now that obviously is true. But does that mean now that because men are more powerful because you have more women and, only successful men can have more women, we should do it? No. No. At the end of the day, I still believe in the traditional marriage, one partner for both genders. Just because a man is able to cheat while retaining his woman, if he's high value, doesn't mean that the man should make use of that power. Because if we look at the long-term life results of a family, in terms of raising great kids and having a long-term great life as a spouse, it's better if you just stay faithful. I'm not even saying that from a moral point of view. I'm not even saying that from an ethical point of view. I'm not even saying that from a biological point of view. But I'm just saying what works. And what works is if both partners don't cheat and both partners have respect for each other in that way. Even though I do understand that men have the one and desire for options. But if you look at the long-term results here, it's just better if the man does not cheat, even though he can exercise that power. So a lot of the hate that Fresh and Fit get, I understand it. But at the end of the day, it's a free country and Fresh and Fit have the right to exercise their freedom of speech. So her chasing down Fresh in the middle of a street is not on. Let me be clear. This is abuse and harassment. And it's not okay for a law-abiding member of the public to be harassed and abused going about their daily lives, regardless of what you think about their opinions. Now, who affects communities more in a negative way? Fresh and Fit or that woman there? I would definitely say that woman there. Okay, Fresh and Fit can have whatever opinion they want. But at the end of the day, they're making their money, they work hard, and they don't make any certain community look bad. But her, through that video, the way she's comporting herself in that video, that, even as a black person, makes me feel sick. I do understand some of the anger going towards Fresh and Fit, not because of what they say, but because of how they want to solve the problem. I think the same thing can be said about people like Andrew Tate and Charlie Kirk, okay? Look, I can't prove Andrew Tate is innocent or guilty for whatever he's doing. That, I always say innocent until proven guilty. End of story. However, the way Andrew Tate behaves himself is just, it's not conducive to making men any more powerful. And then with Charlie Kirk, is it his right to be able to go to the campus and sit down and verbally debate people, verbally debate the students on the campus? Absolutely yes. However, a criticism that he gets all the time is he's using people by going to those universities. He's just provoking people to get clickbait videos. And that is definitely true. Now, is it unethical and immoral what he's doing? No, it's not. Is what he's saying wrong? No, it's not. Is it false? No, it's not. I believe a majority of what Charlie Kirk is saying. However, the way he's playing it is like, he does not need to go into campuses day after day after day. And from what I can see on YouTube, so I could be wrong, but in terms of what I'm seeing visually, anecdotally, as a person who's browsing the web, most of his content is just going there and just destroying, quote unquote, young people on the campuses. A lot of these young people, are they wrong on what they're saying? Absolutely. A lot of these young people, do they need to be educated more about what is right and what is actually true and real? Yes. But I just think the whole thing about going to universities, it's just low class to me. I mean, someone I rate a lot more is someone like Jordan Peterson. A lot of what Jordan Peterson says is the same as Charlie Kirk, but the way he goes about it is just much more classy to me. And the problem that Andrew Tate, Charlie Kirk, Fresh and Fit, and all these other extreme red pill guys are talking about is correct. The problem that they're talking about is definitivamente correcto, okay? But the way they go about it to solve the problem is just not right at all. I believe in more of what Jordan Peterson is saying. And not because I want to believe what they're saying, not because it's the funnest or the most efficient route to winning in life, but because it's the only route to win overall. Okay, there is nothing better than a stable family, one parent, one dad, one mum, kids, no cheating from any party, and then that's it. There's something to be said about how strong that unit is. And what happens is people like Andrew Tate and Fresh and Fit, they love to abuse their power and say, you know what? And Kevin Samuels said that as well. Well, you know what? You should allow men to exercise their options because they can. And yes, of course, in a literal sense, they can exercise the options because those men are of such value that a lot of women wouldn't leave them even if they did. But just because you can do something and get away with it doesn't mean that you should. It's like this. If I said that you could rob the bank and 100% you would definitely get away with it, does that mean you should still do it? Absolutely not. You shouldn't, even though the banks are evil. And just because high value men are able to exercise the options, which they are, it is true, doesn't mean that they should. But the way Andrew Tate and Fresh and Fit go along about it, it's like, oh my God, he can do it, rah, rah. And that's where I get turned off from these guys, because their solution to the problem isn't the best solution at all. In fact, it's making people that don't even have the access to those solutions want to do it. Would I want to put my 5-year-old son, if I had one in front of Andrew Tate, for him to listen to? Not at all. However, there's a lot of things about Andrew Tate which I like. His ambition, his going out there, his dedication to his work. Like this guy, when he was fully allowed to be out and stuff like that before the whole Romanian incident, he works hard. That's not a lie. Say what you want, Andrew Tate. I don't know if he's guilty or not, but the guy works hard. The guy pushes out content like water gets pushed out into the Atlantic Ocean every single day. It's nuts. The guy works hard. Same thing as Fresh and Fit. They work hard. Look at how long their podcasts are, and they do this almost day in and day out. So those parts of these guys that I really appreciate and I really like, but the other parts where the solution to the problem just does not work. And that's where I side on things with people like Ben Shapiro, people like Matt Walsh, and people like Jordan Peterson, because their solution is great. I noticed that, as far as the internet can tell, Myron Gaines does not have wife and kids or is married, whereas Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson are. And a lot of times people like them, they bash on Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro for being a tradcon. Same thing as Rollo Tomasi. Oh my God, they're tradcons, and they just make that seem like a bad thing. And it's not. Traditional conservative, for me, is the best way of doing things.